So you watched Crow's tutorials and learned how to draw the human body. But your drawings still miss something. They're not shaded or rendered. Let me do something about that. All of the different rendering styles you see used by artists basically start with one simple principle, which is dividing the light areas from dark areas, also known as shading. In this video, I will be teaching you how to do that. Listen, when you look at this cube, are you able to comprehend that this is one plane and this is another? Also, when you look at this sphere, are you able to draw these lines going across its surface? If you can do these two things, you should be able to shade the drawing. Let me explain. Let's look at this 2D circle and 2D light source. When we draw some lines to simulate the light, we see that they can't reach some parts of the circle. This line has light hitting on it, but this line doesn't. And the part that they can't reach starts from these points. There's also this line on the ground where the sphere is blocking the light from hitting the ground. Now, if we add one more dimension, the circle is now a sphere. The lines that the light were hitting or not hitting are now areas, and the points that separate them are now a line. The line on the ground where the light can't reach due to being blocked by the circle is also an area. That's it, really. The light and the shadow parts are separated through an imaginary line that goes through the surface of the object. So, regardless of the position of the light source, from all of these lines on the surface of this sphere, one of them will be the line that separates light from shadows. There's obviously more to how the light hits on this, like the bounce light or highlights, but let's take it slow now. This video will just be about how to determine these shadow areas on more complex things, like the human body. Before that though, what about the cube I was talking about? Again, let's look at this 2D square and a light source. Here it seems that it's hitting two different edges of the square, but it's hitting them at different angles. So the edge that gets more direct light from the light source would be lighter compared to the other one. Now, if we add one more dimension, the edges are now planes. It's the exact same thing. The planes that get a more direct light are lighter. But that's actually not what I want to focus on. I just want to focus on the relation between individual planes. The idea I want you to understand is that for any subject, if there's a plane change happening, as in there's an edge dividing two planes, all of the planes at the side facing the light source should just be light, and all of the planes on the other side should just be in shadow. So the edge of the object will basically work as the separation line I was talking about on the sphere, or on any curvy object. These two are basically the same concept anyways, actually. Think of the sphere as having infinite amount of planes and edges. So one of those edges would be the one that separates the light and shadow sides. So if the object we're drawing is simple, we should just think about the plane changes. And if they're a bit more complex, we should think about the form lines on their surface. The human body basically has both of these. There's also the cast shadows. These are the areas that another object is blocking the light from reaching. They could be applied in two ways. One, when an object is blocking some amount of light where a full shadow shape appears on a surface. And the other where a bigger object is blocking the light from reaching a smaller object, leaving it in mostly or fully in shadow. For the first case, just getting the shape of the object vaguely right is enough. Also know that it will have the same direction as the light. As in, if the light is going towards the right, the cast shadow will also be tilted towards the right. The second case is pretty self-explanatory. Both of these could happen on the human body. Anyways, let me demonstrate what I've explained by shading a human face. One disclaimer. These demonstrations are not perfect and might not be 100% accurate. I'm self-taught and this is just how I do it. I will be using a gray color on a multiply layer under the line art. And if we had color, it would be above the color layer. There are different ways to pick the color of your dark sides, but let's go with this for now. Let's draw a version of this head shape simplified to its basic forms, so we can see the planes better. This looks kinda silly and doesn't exactly match with our face, but it just needs to give us a general idea of where the shadows would be and how they would be shaped. The more complex and accurate this is, the more faithful we can be to it. But mine is neither of those. So I'm going to improvise with it a bit. Firstly, determine the position of the light source. Let's put it top right. This is a pretty classic angle. You might have used it without thinking about how it works. We can see a plane change happening at the left side of the head, so that's all gonna be in shadow. The top part of the head combined with the forehead is pretty circular. This front plane will also have a bit of itself in shadow since it's not completely flat. The brow ridge will block the light and cast a shadow to the eye socket. This is an example for the second type of cast shadows. The eye would also just be in shadow here. I don't know what I was thinking while drawing this. The nose will also cast a shadow, and this is an example for the first type of cast shadows. The upper lip will be in shadow since it's a down-facing plane, and vice versa for the lower lip. The lower lip will also cast a bit of a shadow. We can also say this brow ridge blocks a bit of light as well. And here we go, a shaded face. Let's put the light source above. Both of the side planes will be in shadow this time. This makes sense as well, since if we look at the head directly from above, we wouldn't really see the side planes of it. I completely butchered the example here, but I hope you get it. The brow ridge will also be blocking all the light here. The front plane will also have some of it in shadow. This is just due to the form of the face. For example, if this plane was completely flat, then it wouldn't have any shade on it. But it has a bit of a curve to it. This time I remembered to put the eyes in shadow as well. This is not my best work, honestly. Not the light position that I'm very comfortable with. But yeah, I hope it gets the point across. Full body this time. I won't be drawing a simplified version for this since it would be too tedious. So I mostly need to use my general knowledge of the anatomy and the form. In my anatomy tutorials, most of the time I give info about the form, so check them out if you're having any problem with any of these. Let's go with the light coming from the side. Now start from top down. The head. Top part of the head is literally just a sphere. Side plane of the face. The neck, just a tube. We could go a bit further and portray the form of the neck muscles, or not. The chest, again, think about the plate. The boobs are ellipsoids. They will be casting a bit of a shadow as well. The ribcage, you can either think about its planes or just think of it as an egg shape. The visible parts of it just looks like a cylinder as well. Also, there's a bit of its opening shaded. Rest of the torso just a cylinder. The hips a rectangular shape. The tummy is this organic shape. It's the same though. The edge of the shadows will just wrap around its form. Legs, just a cylinder. The knees are a bit more spherical, so the shadows will wrap around them. It wouldn't be this much, I guess, but it's rule of cool. The leg on the left has its inner side in shadow, so that divide made by the sartorius will be visible. It's kind of a detail though, you could just shade it flat as well. The calves have a distinct shape, but it doesn't affect the shadows that much in this light source position. The feet, think about its front plane kinda. And the toes is just gonna wrap around them again. The shoulders a sphere. The upper arm just a cylinder, and the lower arm a slightly different cylinder. For hands, think about the individual muscles. And the fingers will just be cylinders. Let's zoom in a bit and this time put the light source left, above, and a bit back. Sounds difficult. I'm gonna approach this one differently. since the light source is on the back. Let's first put everything in shadow and go from there. When thinking about what to put in light for these types of poses, I want you to ask two questions. Does it face the light source? And does it go forward? Let me quickly scribble the worst side view and a top view that you've ever seen. The light source is here and here. The idea is, if they go forward, the light that would otherwise be blocked might reach them. The thing is, they would need to go really far out for this to happen, but rule of cool, so it's fine. When we look at the head, it does face the light source. The left shoulder and the left traps also face the light source. The neck seems like it would be facing the light source, but the light source is also above, so it's mostly blocked by the head. The boobs doesn't face the light source, but they do go forward. Determining the shape of these light spots is still the same principle, just thinking about the surface of the form. The left one would get a lot more light than the right one. The rest of the torso in shade. The tummy doesn't really go far out, but you can also light them if you want to. Again, rule of cool. The left hip doesn't go far out, but it does face the light source, and it's too far down for it to be blocked by anything. Thighs are similar to tummy here. They don't really go that far out, but if you want to, you can add a bit of light. The left arm and hand also face the light source. For example, if we moved this thigh forward, now it would get a lot more light. That's gonna be it for this video. There are a lot of stuff I couldn't cover because I wanted to finish this video in time. I will be going over all these and give a lot more examples in future videos. Subscribe so you don't miss out. For now, I would recommend you check out artworks from other artists to practice. Just look for ones where the shadow areas are hard shaded. If I don't forget, I will be giving some links in the description as well. Thank you for watching till the end. Have a nice day.